Welcome back everybody, Max here, and today, as I'm sure you can tell by the title of the video, we are imminently incoming May patch update, whatever you want to call it. It's coming, we're right on top of it, the month is about to expire, and we're going to get some updates, we're going to get some revisions, but more importantly, we're going to get some netcode fixes and changes that we've all been promised. And I'm going to go into it and I'm going to explain to you what's going to happen, what's going to change and how it's going to affect you. And we're going to get into that a little later in the video. But first of all, I just want to cover all the other stuff that they've also changed and more than likely will implement into the game with the May patch. So let's get stuck into it and let's do it real quick. Weapons and gadgets. I'm sure you all know by now that they are nerfing the bayonet charge because we really needed a bayonet charge nerf. I don't know about you, but I was starting to get really pissed off with people bayonet charging me. Okay, well, never mind. So they're going to nerf it nonetheless. And they say activated an aiming speed modifier during prepare state as well as a charge state. This means a player can rotate a maximum of 50 degrees during the prepare state. And it also added an input modifier disabling strafing while charging. So when you activate it, you're not going to be able to swing side to side and go crazy banshee styley. It's going to be almost running in a straight line with your bayonet charge and all that fun jazz without the rapid movement. It also said it added a subtle boost to the footsteps when you charge with a bayonet, and it increased the voice awareness as well. So there'll be slightly louder screaming, and there'll be footsteps, slightly louder footsteps as well. Again, none of this I saw as being a huge problem. You guys may disagree. If you do, leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on this. Me personally, I didn't see any of this as being a problem. Yet again, this is DICE changing things that aren't broken. Didn't seem to really be a big problem, at least on console, and that's all I can comment for. And so, to me, this is a complete waste of time. They would have been better off spending their energies on doing other things that would have made everybody's game experience a little bit better. They did remove the damage reduction while in charge. So when you were charging with a bayonet, you would have a damage reduction. So when someone's shooting at you, you're not taking as much damage as you would do if you're a regular soldier. They've eliminated that, so killing people whilst in bayonet charge should be a little bit easier. Again, can't say I've ever had a big problem with it. So to me, that's fantastic. That's great. You've wasted a whole bunch of time tweaking something that didn't really need to be tweaked. So let's move away from that because it's boring. And so we'll move straight into, let's move into the gameplay. And one of the things that I do like and I am looking forward to, and that is adding a camera shake advanced gameplay option to adjust the amount of camera shake caused by explosions and stuff like that. Now, I have experienced and do experience a lot of camera shake and a lot of wobble and stuff like that when there's explosions going off, and 9 times out of 10 the explosions aren't anywhere near me. So this for me is a great one. This will be turned completely off and down to 0, and so hopefully reduce some of the absolutely fantastically annoying camera shake when you're trying to play the game. Now, if an explosion goes off right next to you, naturally I would expect some kind of movement or something like that. But if somebody throws a grenade and it goes off, on the B flag and I'm up on C, why the hell is my camera shaking all over God's green earth? So there we are. So they're going to eliminate that, or give you the option to turn it on and off. They're automatically going to show icon ammo images above friendly soldiers, so that you actually, if you are running support, you are going to know when somebody's running low on ammo. I want to say part of this, or partial of this, is already implemented in the main game, because I've seen a bunch of people with ammo indicators above their heads and throwing ammo packs and stuff at them, knowing full well. And I think this is a good one. I'd also like to see something similar implemented for people that are low on health as well, and kind of do that as well and help out the medics in that way too. So swiftly moving on to that, then we're going to get into controls. They're doing it again. Player using controllers can now custom map their stick mappings. This is already implemented in the game. You have a left stick and a right stick stuff, and you can mess around with it and tweak each individual stick to however you like. Me personally, it forced me to go back into my controller settings and then start resetting the whole thing up after I had it perfect. Can be good, can be bad. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below as to this kind of change, because for me, this is just, I had it good, and now this is something else that just needs more balance, readjustment, and a bigger understanding. It's almost worthy of another video just to explain how this works, because it's without spending hours of messing around in the game. It can become an absolute minefield of what this does, what that does, and it's just a pain in the ass. But either way, it's in the game now, and I believe they tested it on the CTE, but it's already in the game, so no need to worry about that unless they're planning on adding even more stuff in there, in which case I may do a video on how to set your controller up properly, which is an absolute pain in the arse. Onto the UI. Fix no squad in squad select screen being selected if the player is not in a squad. Again, didn't really see this as a huge problem, but something else that they've tweaked and fixed. One of the little stuff to make things better. Fixed an issue with the flag icons and world icons ghosting when going in and out of the customized screen from the deploy screen. My biggest problem, and I know they are looking at this as well, is flags just dominating your viewpoint when you're coming onto an objective and stuff like that, and can make you miss shots sometime. So they're going to eliminate that, and they're going to tweak it and twist it, and that will be absolutely fantastic. So that's me. I've blasted through all of that as fast as I can. There is a hell of a lot more that they've changed, you know, stupid stuff all the way down the line. If you want to read it, jump on Reddit, on the Battlefield 1 Reddit site. All of the changes in the CTE currently are listed on there. And now let's dive into what is the big one, and that is the netcode, and of course the whole reason that everybody's here. So they've implemented the region threshold settings for server-side hit detection, 130 milliseconds for US and Europe, and 200 milliseconds elsewhere. We all knew this was coming. Those are the thresholds, up from 100, across the board. So anywhere in the US and Europe, you're at 130, and anywhere else, you're at 200 milliseconds. Me personally, I think this is good. I think this is great, and I know I'm going to upset a lot of people in the community by saying those things, but I do believe it's in the better interest. Not everybody has great ping, and not everybody sits right on top of the servers and all that kind of stuff. And for everybody that just keeps banging this drum, it's really irritating. Not everybody is close to a server. So most people are not playing outside of their region. They're trying to play within their region. They don't either have a server, or the closest server to them would force them to be over this 100 millisecond ping. So get off your high horse. Everybody has the right to play the game, and everybody has the right to have a decent experience within the game. And I think this balances it out and finds a nice middle ground that should keep everybody happy, apart from, of course, the elitist mob that, you know, think that everybody should have badass internet, sit right on top of the server, and if they don't, well then, you know, hard shit and they're screwed. So I don't agree with it, but I think these settings are better. They say they fixed the server-side hit registration interpolation. I did a video talking about interpolation, how it works, and all that kind of fun stuff. I will leave a link in the description for it if you want to go and check it out. Just gives you a brief overview of what interpolation is, how it works, and all that kind of stuff. They've actually already implemented the interpolation stuff into the game, although they're probably doing more things within the CTE. Interpolation was one of the things that they fixed in the hot patch, and they did it stealthily. You wouldn't have noticed. They did it their server side, not client side, so you won't have really seen it, but you'll have certainly felt the effects. And bullet registration has got a little bit better across the past couple of weeks, I've noticed myself. If you experience something different, then by all means you let me know, but a lot of that will be to do with ping and the collaboration of all of these things put together. Leading shot only necessary by the margin above the threshold, i.e. for the United States at 150 milliseconds ping, you have to lead by 20 milliseconds. This is actually worded wrong. At 130 milliseconds, you will have to lead by 20 milliseconds, giving you a total of 150. Now, again, if your ping is consistent, and if your ping is static at 130 milliseconds, then you can make the adjustment of 20, and you now can make the relevant adjustments to lead your target. However, ping fluctuates all the time. It's variable by the network and how it works, and so making this board statement where you're just going to have to lead by 20 milliseconds is absolute crap, and it's farcical. You are going to have to make an adjustment, but because they've increased the thresholds, I think that it'll tone itself down, and it'll become a lot more manageable. Those numbers are not going to be manageable because they're not static numbers. Writing stuff down on a page is one thing, but they're not static numbers. So they also fixed the latency display for server, which is also responsible for the decision if to perform client or server-side hit registration. And basically that is the way that your Xbox, PlayStation, or whatever communicates with their server, and sending them the right information at the right times so that the interpolation can work correctly, send back the right messages, and bullets go in exactly the right areas and where you want to say them. They've got a latency balance between an imbalance between the two. So if your Xbox, for example, says that you've shot this guy dead and you did all the correct leading and all that kind of fun stuff, there is a latency between what your client side, your Xbox side stuff says to their server and the message that their server then sends back. There is a latency problem within there. That will be the interpolation stuff. and that will result in you getting spongy hit detection or no hit detection whatsoever. So they've addressed that, they're fixing that, and that's really good, and we should see some great benefit from that. Fixed input offsets for server-side hit registration to match the client side. Well, that kind of ties back in with what I've just said, so I'm not going to explain the same thing over and over again, just for the purposes of making longer videos. That's ridiculous. I just want to give you the information. So that is exactly that. And fix the wrong hit indicator display when dying. Everybody's noticed, I'm sure, recently that when you die, you'll have a weird hit detector, like you shot the guy. And I must admit, it's confused me a couple of times, so I'm thinking, well, did I shoot the guy or did I not shoot the guy? Well, no, they've got a problem with the hit indicator, and so when you get killed, it shows your hit indicator as shooting the guy when in actual fact he shot you. So there we are. That's the netcode update. That's what's coming. If you have any questions or thoughts or any of feedback or any of that kind of fun stuff, then leave it down in the comments below. I will answer every single one of them as they come in, unless of course there's 50,000, in which case I will select them, but I doubt very much there'll be 50,000. And as usual, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy the content on the channel. We've nearly hit 100 subs. I'd love to do that this week if I can. That would be fantastic. I appreciate everybody's support thus far. Glad you're liking the content, glad you like the channel. I really enjoy doing it. It's a total breath of fresh air. It's completely different. Really loving it right now. Enjoying with playing some of you guys in the stream. And look out for Saturday's live stream, 10 AM Saturday morning. It's going to be the first one, called the Grand Tour. There is an advertisement type video on my channel. Go check that out. It'll explain a little bit more about what we're doing. And that being said, gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching. My name's Max, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ta-da.